Hello everyone and welcome to Snap Take. This is Glazer of Snap Judgments and thank you so much for giving this video a shot. Today we've got 4 exclusive decks for you, including a top 5 ranked Thanos list that is exclusive to this video. We've got an amazing deck from our friend Lauren Whatevs. We've got a really solid last review of Infinity Ultron and one of the only decks that works for the newest card, but we're going to kick it off with the Shang-Enjoyer Warswan. This is not a Shang-Enjoyer original deck, it's an alteration of a Splaticus deck, but this one's still really good, really cool, and really distinct, so if you're looking for something powerful to play, give this one a shot. So this is from Shang-Enjoyer, but the original creator of the original version of this you can find at Splaticus, twitch.tv/Splaticus. He was also on the podcast if you check right on this channel. Yesterday evening we posted the podcast. It's also on your favorite podcatcher, Snapchat Pod, where we have Splat on the episode with us. Now, this is an alteration that's even not made by Shang-Enjoyer. Our friend Dai Cavallo, who's since stopped playing Marvel Snap, made this alteration a while back, but the list still works, and we wanted to bring it to you because all of a sudden it's sort of tearing up the top 10% of Infinite. This deck needs War Machine, Symbiote Spider-Man, Aranya, and Black Swan. That makes it a reasonably expensive deck. Remember that you can get Aranya if you choose not to update in the patch that comes out next Tuesday. You can use spotlights and the very last spotlights and still get Aranya just fine. Symbiote and Black Swan, just as a reminder, are former Season Pass cards. I just want to keep emphasizing that buying the Season Pass, for those of you who are able to afford it financially, for those of you for whom it is an actual option, is one of the best ways to keep up with the game. The cards that are in Season Passes almost always end up useful at some point. And then we also need War Machine. Hopefully you have War Machine, very powerful card. Gwenpool can be Galacta. Unfortunately, that's really the only replacement. That is another Series 5 card, but it's also another Series Pass. Hydra Bob can be Sunspot, Frigga, or Zabu. So we're really trying to do to win with this list is, well, 3 real plans, right? So plan 1 is get out an Infinite on the last turn of the game. We're trying to play War Machine or pass turn 5 such that we can play Infinite on the last turn of the game. The most important card of the deck, however, is Black Swan, because we need Black Swan on either 2, 3, or 4. Extremely important that we get Black Swan on 2, 3, or 4, because if we do, we can do a bunch of combo moves and make ourselves about a 20 power Human Torch on that last turn. If we can get that Human Torch that big at the end of the game, plus the free Hydra Bob, plus the free, if we played War Machine, Ebony Maw, Titania, so on and so forth, we end up with enough power to win the game. That is the combo this deck is going for. So our goal for Human Torch is to either hit it at least once with Gwenpool, or to be able to play it in the Symbiote Spider-Man lane and then trigger it on that card. Either one of those works just fine here. There's a little bit of finickiness with Symbiote Spider-Man and Human Torch as far as playing cards like Iron Fist goes. You'll have to practice a little bit with that to make sure you get it right. But it's not the end of the world. You'll get that relatively quickly. So you're trying to move Human Torch using Iron Fist, Ghost Spider, and Aranya. Ideally with it buffed by either Symbiote Spider-Man or Gwenpool. That is one of your conditions. You also have the ability to just play at least 9 energy and power. If you got Hydra Bob and Titania with that Black Swan, Ebony Maw can make that 9 be 16 for free at the end of the game, which is again fairly wild. Gwenpool has the ability to make these smaller cards threats. War Machine lets you not have to skip turn 5 fundamentally and gives you extra access to Ebony Maw. And then Symbiote Spider-Man is here again very specifically as a way to buff that Human Torch. Don't be afraid, however, to buff Gwenpool, as the case may be, if you end up needing to go that route. If you're not seeing your Infinite and so on, double Gwenpool is pretty damn solid, especially with that Black Swan if you have that Human Torch shenanigan going. And then Infinite's just big. All right, so this is a deck that is currently 68% win rate, 34 and 16. So that is a solid sample size of 50 games at a really, really high win rate in top 10% Infinite. The snap conditions here are basically, do you see your combo and do they have a counter? So you're going to have to be careful of cards, in particular Red Guardian and Mobius. I also managed to get my stupid War Machine Enchantress once. That was annoying. If you have War Machine, do yourself a favor. If you think they may have Enchantress, try and play it on turn 5. But yeah, outside of that, this list works real well. Turn 1, you want Aranya over Bob. Turn 2, 3, or 4, you will Swan over anything you're trying. You will play Aranya or Bob. Otherwise, on turn 2 or 3, as extra plays, getting Bob out early has no real downside. Aranya out early, obviously that needs to happen. Turn 4, Swan over Symbiote over Gwenpool. That's just fairly important. Turn 5, War Machine over Pass and Trigger Swan. You can also play Gwenpool and trigger that if you don't have War Machine in hand. Turn 6, ones to make a big torch, and infinite, and then you should be able to win. This list is an absolute cube thief. No one knows what the hell you're doing. I wouldn't suggest playing this with the current Sakar hot location, but outside of that, this is an absolute top deck. Props to Splaticus for creating the original. Props to Dai Cavallo, our long lost friend, for updating it. And then props for Shang and Jory for having such an amazing win rate with it. Before we get to the key deck of the day, the Thanos deck that I've been promoting, please hit that sub, like, and comment. It would mean the absolute world to me if you were willing to. As we try to hit 25,000 subs in 2025, we give you a Marvel Snap video every day. The last 2 days, both Saturday and Sunday, had 2 videos. Saturday, we went over the current ranked number one deck in Marvel Snap, and we covered the 5 best high evolutionary decks. Yesterday, we had the podcast and an amazing Hella deck. If you're interested, please do check those out. We are also doing a season pass giveaway. I decided I'm going to be live all frickin' day. I'm going to make a post when I'm going live right here on YouTube, and then I'm going to go live. So we are going to give away last week's Sharon Carter season pass. Captain Carter season pass. If you'd like to win Captain Carter, please sub, like, and comment. Every video has a specific question. As long as you're subbed, you leave that comment and you are entered to win the season pass. Finally, this is the last day to sign up for a full complement of Snap Judgments League Season 6. This is our monthly, I guess technically bi-monthly tournament where you play one game a week in a pod of 8. You win your pod, you get a season pass, and then you are put into a $500 prize pool, top 8. So there's a ton to this. We are sponsored by TopDeck.gg. Thank you so much, Top Deck, for the support. Go check them out if you ever want to run a tournament for any game. And yeah, this tournament is amazing. If you ever want to play with me, other top creators, please make sure you join the Snap Judgments League. If you have questions or want to get in on this, the Discord is linked in the description to this and every video, so please do check it out. All right, Honifer's Thanos list is the Thanos list that's really great right now. For quite a while, all we were seeing was the ongoing Thanos, and then people started, like Killmonger sort of chased that away, and now we're trying to move away from relying too much on the stones. We can still do a little bit of stone stuff with this deck, right? We're still running Blue Marvel to make those stones real threats. We're running still a bunch of one-drops, but this deck's goal is to draw cards. This wants to draw cards so that it can try and either Loki and win with the opponent cards, then draw the opponent cards using the stones, or it wants to be able to win by using the proper tech cards, by being able to Shang, Juggernaut, and steal games. No one expects Juggernaut in Thanos. It is free frickin' wins. Honifer is the creator of this list. He's often in the top 10. He is currently ranked 5. He was ranked 2 several seasons back, one of the best players in Marvel Snap. Just, whenever he releases a list, we gotta pay attention. You've seen his list before. Most recently, there was a Thanos Arishem list that was everywhere. If you were like, oh, where'd that Thanos Arishem list come from? A lot of people weren't aware, but that was an Honifer original list. For this list, you need Thanos, Mockingbird, and Loki. And yes, I do think you need Loki. Loki is extremely important here. But Thanos and Loki's interaction is that when you play Loki, if you have draw stones, you can then draw the discounted cards, and that's incredibly strong. Yes, sometimes Loki is going to draw dead, but at least at high infinite, the bullseye deck, the discard stuff is sort of disappearing a little bit. There's not that many bad Loki hits, unless I put Hella back in the meta yesterday, in which case this deck will take a fairly big hit. Probably needs to add Cosmo. But if that's not the case, then Loki has very few bad hits in the current meta. You hit a Scream deck, you're perfectly happy. You hit a mid-range Galacta deck, you're perfectly happy. Like you hit a Surfer deck, you're perfectly happy, especially if you're drawing more of their cards. So any of that stuff works really well. Plus, you still have the Thanos in your hand, so you have an extra 6/12 on top of all the other stuff. It works great. Wiccan for this list can be Phastos or Luna Snow. Either one of those are fine. Wiccan is the best of those, but Phastos and Luna are, again, just good. Red Guardian can be Rogue. That is the standard operating replacement here. If you are facing a lot of things that try and get cheap on you, Mobius is a fine replacement too. King Eitri, Nico, and Sam can be Quake, Iceman, and Shadow King. Eitri is actually the most important of these cards here. Eitri it being important in particular because King Eitri allows you to get that extra draw from Loki. It's another way to get that draw from Loki. So is Nico, honestly, but Nico could also copy a cheap Mockingbird or do some other cool stuff. Iron Patriot here can be Cable or Mirage, as you choose. Cable is a good card, and people just don't play it because Iron Patriot's better. All right, so King Eitri has 2 uses here. First, if after you play Loki, you can use Eitri to draw an extra card. Extra cards after Loki have obvious extra value. The other use is it goes to get you one of Thanos' stones. Thanos' stones are nice in that you can buff them with Blue Marvel, and they make Mockingbird cheaper, and, obviously they have their own abilities. Loki is the key card to this list. This is a Loki deck as much as anything. This is trying to use the draw to take advantage of Loki. Usually Loki is just sort of extra index. He's just like, because he costs one, he's a throw-in. He's actually quite good here. Nico Minoru is a very powerful card. The card you most want to copy as a general rule is the cheap Mockingbird, but copying any of the cards that Loki gives you that are cheaper is very good. Copying a cheap discounted Iron Patriot card is amazing. Plus, you can blow up one of the Infinity Stones, that, especially those that don't draw early, in order to get extra cards. Turning a stone into, or Loki into a demon is fine. Blowing up Loki to draw two is fine. Any of these plays, Nico offers you a toolbox on top of your toolbox. For a while, she was like a must-have in Thanos, and then she disappeared. It was good to get a reminder of how good she is in the shell. Iron Patriot gives you an extra card that's hopefully pretty cheap and very strong. Don't feel like you're forced into playing Iron Patriot, but he does offer you an extra snap condition when you win. Sam Wilson for this list is here largely because he's a 2/8. If you play Blue Marvel, he becomes fundamentally a 2/10, right? Like he's getting one power, and so is the shield. All that's really good. He also offers you some protection from opposing Red Guardians. Just a really great card that goes in most decks. Iron Patriot and Sam Wilson are here because they're two of the best cards in the game. Juggernaut is disruption. No one plays around Juggernaut and Thanos. Juggernaut's not great into other Thanos, but he's very good into almost anything else. At the end of the game, Juggernaut can win a game. In the middle of the game, he can win Iron Patriot, or in sort of like turn 4 or 5-ish, he can, if you know where your opponent's going to play, he can often end up clogging a location and helping you win that way. Red Guardian is control, and Shang-Chi says power must be controlled. They're fairly obvious. Wiccan, if you can get the Wiccan curve going as extra energy, you should almost always be able to get the Wiccan curve going in this deck. This is a very low to the ground Thanos deck, with only Shang-Chi, Blue Marvel, Mockingbird, and Thanos being really expensive here, and you already have Thanos, obviously, so you can't draw him. So Wiccan is fairly likely, if drawn, to be able to be turned on, and that is a snap and win condition. Blue Marvel, we've sort of talked about throughout. Good with the stones, good for Sam Wilson, good with Loki. Overall, great. Mockingbird is made cheaper by all the Thanos stones. Mockingbird is the best Nico copy target, I think, at least in my opinion. She's often the play at the end of the game with like a Juggernaut or Shang-Chi, which opponents will have a really hard time dealing with. And meanwhile, Thanos gives you stones while also being able to often be played on turn 5 and not Shang-Chi. A 5/12 on that can't be shanged is pretty strong. So turn 1 Loki, if you have draw in hand, that can be a snap condition. If you are new to these videos, green means that this is a potential snap condition, while white means that this is very often, like almost always, a snap condition. Yellow just means, this is what you do. So Loki, if draw in hand, is better than draw. If you don't have draw in hand but do have Loki, I would consider, well, I guess Loki, if draw in hand, is just better than draw, right? Otherwise, you're happy to draw. You'll play other ones too, but your general goal is here. Turn 2, you want 2 ones, Sam or Iron Patriot. Sam is really good on turn 2 or 3 because either way he becomes a 2/8. Iron Patriot is important if you think you can win. You need to look at your hand and figure out if you can win. If you can, it is often a snap condition. If you win Iron Patriot, good opponents will often just run, assuming you have something very powerful and very hard to deal with. And that's less true since his nerf, but it's still true enough that you can pressure opponents fairly heavily with that. Turn 3, 2+1 is generally the goal. You will also play a Juggernaut as required for Iron Patriot. Mockingbird is basically as she fits from here on, although you'd like her to just be free at the end of the game. Surprise. Turn 4, Wiccan, and you snap Wiccan over earlier plays. Turn 5, Thanos or Shang or Blue Marvel. And then turn 6, Thanos or Juggernaut or Shang plus. So you're playing Juggernaut or Shang with whatever else you can, hopefully a Mockingbird and a stone or so. Or you can drop a Thanos if it's going to be really big, with an extra stone, hopefully going to 20. Shang and Juggernaut can be snap conditions, right? Like, obviously, but they're fairly obvious when they are, so it feels kind of silly to call those out. List is incredible. Hopefully, you will give it a try. I think that, yeah, this is the top ranked Thanos right now. None of the other top 4 players are playing Thanos, so this is the top ranked Thanos. Give it some love, give it some play, and hopefully we can, you can have a bunch of success with it. Hey, please check out a stream today, literally today. Twitch drops are about to happen today, twitch.tv/pulseglazer. There's the like snow day give back, so I'm off. My son is away. I'm going to be streaming almost the entire day today, so come hang out, get your Twitch drops. if you're willing, twitch.tv/pulseglazer. I'm not going to be streaming on YouTube because it's Twitch drops, and I want to sort of direct you to get the damn free stuff. One of the free things, by the way, is volts. So if you just don't want to grind as much high voltage and just want to get that crap done, this is a nice way to do it. Our season pass question is, how do you feel about the current Snap meta? Nice and simple. Are you enjoying it? Are you feeling like it's getting a little stale? Where do you personally land on the current Snap meta? Um, I'd also like you to know, if you didn't check out yesterday's Hella video, we have a really great Hella deck in yesterday's video. Please check that out. But also, if you'd like to see some gameplay from that, there's a YouTube channel that's really great. It's called Marvel Snap Daily Dose. That's Marvel Snap Daily Dose, where they do some cool clips from a bunch of really great streamers. A lot of our friends end up on there all the time. Recently, we've started showing up. Yesterday's video, we're in there 3 times with the Hella deck. So if you want to see that Hella deck go off, do check yesterday's Marvel Snap Daily Dose too. All right. Next up, we've got our last chance review of Infinity Ultron. Infinity Ultron has too many problems to be really worth getting unless you are flush with resources. He is a 5/6 on reveal, add 2 of Ultron stones to your hand. He has 6 stones, so you don't have a good chance of seeing any of the stones that combo because, well, your odds just aren't high. Let's go over the problems with him. First, he's really, really often paired with a Series 5 card, Luna Snow, because it's very important to be able to ramp him out. If you can't ramp him out, the stones aren't often good enough to be played on turn 6. That is a problem. Next, a 5/6 is just really low stats. 6 is not enough for a 5. Even if you double that, that's a 5/12, and you just spent 8 energy to get a 12, 14 technically, because that stone has 2. That's not ideal either. You can use the double stone or the make an extra copy of him stone with that. Those both work really well, but now you've done a really good job at that lane, but you've got an incredibly weak turn 6 or turn 5 for that other lane. This is a problem. You're very unlikely to see that, and even worse, that play is extremely vulnerable to clog. Team FAK, thanks to Devinter, props to Devinter, have been playing a ton of clog, and clog is now back in the meta in major force. So strongly consider running cards like Killmonger, but adding extra cards like Infinity Ultron or just locations. Some squirrels will mess you up, some raptors will mess you up. A lot of different little things. Any location that's hard to play in, all of a sudden Infinity Ultron, because you want to play 2 extra stones, no longer does anything valuable. Altogether, I think this card just needs a buff. Either the stones need to come down in cost, or Infinity Ultron needs to go up a fairly substantial amount in power. I don't think that this is very good. Um, hell, the stones could also just be better. The 5/4 space stone is like actively pretty useless most of the time. There's just a lot of stuff that this card really needs to work well. I am genuinely overall extremely unimpressed. There are a few good decks, but I don't think any of them are meta. I think they're just good decks. We're going to look at one momentarily. Our friend Toxic Soul King had one. He's good in Hella. He's in that Hella deck from yesterday, but he's fundamentally replaceable in that. And um, he's good in Hella. He's good in this. And what's the third place? I'm forgetting one. Excuse me. Oh, and he's good in the Roram deck, which is the one that's everywhere. That's the Iron Man Silver Surfer thing that's been all over the place. So he's got some homes, right? And they're just not. None of them, I don't really think, are pure tier 1. And like, unless you really want this card, I think it's a skip. This is Zombies Go Nom Nom's nice Ultron list. It's good. It's not like broken amazing, but it is a very good list. A lot of the time, the reason this is such a good list is it just ignores Infinity Ultron and ends up playing sort of like a Kahori Gore Galacta Victoria Hand type game plan. But like Infinity Ultron is a nice extra plan, and the stones are much less bad in Victoria Hand decks when you have Victoria Hand. And hey, if you play that on 4, thanks to Luna, you play those stones on 5, and then you play Gore on 6, they're gonna buff your Gore too. You can find Zombies at twitch.tv/zombiesgonomnom. He's also on YouTube at the same name. This deck needs Luna, Victoria, Kate, and Galacta. Kahori can be Frigga or Gwenpool. I think Kahori is great in this list. Ultron can be Wiccan. So, sorry, let's go back to Kahori. Kahori is basically Gwenpool for Victoria Handless. She's quite good. Not amazing, but quite good. Ultron can be Wiccan. Gore can be Red Hulk or Magneto. Copycat can be Red Guardian, Gladiator, Juggernaut, or whatever 3 you're kind of in the mood for. And then Iron Patriot can be Mirage. This kept feeling like it should be a Wiccan list to me, so if you ever want to try a Wiccan in there, feel free. You're probably going to have to change like an Iron Patriot for a Maria Hill or something along those lines if you're inclined to do that. But whatever, this is a really strong list. Quinjet makes three things in this list cheaper. I'm not wrong, right? It's three. Yeah, it makes the Snow Guard Hawk and Bear cheaper, which is important because there's a lot of magic around. It makes the Infinity Ultron stones cheaper, which is the real reason it's here. And then it's a nice little extra bonus on that Iron Patriot card. Snow Guard, again, gives you some extra cards to play. Extra cards are nice for various reasons. Um, Kahori is great. Quinjet makes them cheaper. Victoria Hand buffs them. Plus, again, occasionally you're going to scam with that bear, and that, especially the Hawk, is a very powerful card. Kate Bishop is the same thing. She adds cards to your hand. Those cards aren't made cheaper by Quinjet, but because they're so cheap, they're really good with Victoria Hand. Nice and simple. Kate's really good. Iron Patriot gives you that potential power card. We talked about how it's a snap condition earlier, so I'll just leave that hanging there. We can move on. Victoria Hand buffs Snow Guard cards, Kate cards, Infinity Ultron cards in this list. That's not a million, but hey, +2 to any of those cards. It makes, oh, and Iron Patriot cards. +2 to any of those cards makes them a real threat. Mobius shuts down certain decks. That's kind of why he's here. You just don't want to lose to certain things. This list does not sort of go over the top. So Mobius saying you can't go over the top of me is really good. Copycat says if my opponent is playing good stuff, and if the reason Loki is good right now, so many opponents are playing good stuff, mid-rangey good stuff builds. So Copycat is therefore strong. Also good information that of a card they won't draw unless there's a deck shuffle. Luna gives you the ramp into Infinity Ultron, the ramp into Gore, both of which are very strong. There are worse things in the world also than playing Luna into Galacta, and then you can play that with like Snow Guard, Quinjet, or one of Kate's arrows to immediately get a Galacta buff, turning Galacta from a a 4/11 to a 4/14 is genuinely worth doing. Galacta is just the best power card in the game. I maintain that she is easily the best 4-cost card in the game, and her power is unmatched in decks like this. She's fundamentally why we get to play this sort of smaller deck between she and Victoria Hand. Like, Victoria Hand's playing the role of Surfer here, right? Between she and Victoria Hand, we get a lot of power on the cheap. Kahori is hard to predict, which is the downside for her because like if she was a little more even, I think she'd be one of the better cards in the game. Right now, though, she is uneven, but you have so many cards that fill your hand that often on turn 4 you're just gonna be like, all right, I'm gonna drop a 4/12. Seems good to me. Infinity Ultron is fine. If you don't see your other, like, a lot of the times you're just not gonna play Snowguard or Kate, right? Infinity Ultron gives you cards to buff with Victoria Hand, cards that buff Gore, and it ends up working out just fine that way. Then we have Gore. Gore's big. That's what he's here for. I don't know how to explain Gore better than that. He's a finisher. He is the only real finisher in the list, unless you want to count Infinity Ultron as a finisher, and I don't feel like doing that. All right, so Zombies went 20 and 9, which is a nice 69% win rate with this list. Turn 1, you want Quinjet over Snowguard. Turn 2, Victoria Hand over Iron Patriot over Kate. Victoria Hand can be a snap if your hand is really good, but Victoria Hand doesn't go very over the top, and this deck doesn't run tech, so be careful. Turn 3, Luna over Mobius, and Mobius can be a snap if your opponent's trying to do stuff, which is equal to Copycat, which is equal to 2/1. If you're pretty sure you know what your opponent's playing, either you've been playing the same opponent multiple times, or they've made it clear what they're playing with their first couple plays, and Mobius is going to do nothing, then go Copycat. If Copycat didn't get a good target, just go 2/1, you'll be fine. And remember, Kate can give you a 1 to play if required. Turn 4, Galacta or Kahori. They're better than Infinity Ultron. I know that this Infinity Ultron deck, a lot of the times, the best way to play Infinity Ultron decks is just not to play the damn card. Turn 5, Gore or Infinity Ultron, or if Victoria Hand, you just generate a bunch of cards. And then turn 6 is generated cards or Gore. Cool. Really strong list. Props to Zombies for coming up with it. Again, Infinity Ultron much better than running like a Devil Dino here. I don't know. But it's cool and it adds stuff to the list. It works well with Kahori, it works well with Victoria Hand. It's cheaper by Quinjet. So it's got synergy and it's not bad. It's all nicest thing I can say. Hey, check out the stream team, but actually don't check out the stream team today. Although you can check out Obehave's video sometime this week, hopefully. Gregor, our friend Gregor2424, has his Twitch front page stream today. I think he's going to be live basically all day. He's raising money for St. Jude's Hospital. I'd like you to come watch me, but you should definitely go watch Gregor, even over me, because he's going to be absolutely crushing it today with multiple giveaways, all that good stuff. Go check out our friend Gregor2424, and if you'd like to stop by and hang out, I'll be live at some point too. All right, next up we have Lauren's Cleanup Crew. This is our friend Lauren Wadev's deck. Yeah, the great Lauren Wadev's, the person who figured out and got a Splitsmith, who creates really, really cool decks, has finished in the top 1,000 when she wanted to, is genuinely a fantastic player, and this is a deck of basically all her favorite cards. This is not a cheap deck, but it is so freaking cool. You can find Lauren at twitter.com/LaurenWhatEvs, but more importantly, she's in, at least in my opinion, what is the very best Marvel Snap podcast at youtube.com/@SnapOnThisPod. Make sure you go check it out on either YouTube or your favorite pod catcher. This deck needs Mockingbird, Cersei, and Supergiant. Sam can be Kate or Mirage. All right, so our basic goal here, the gist of the deck. Let's ignore Supergiant. Supergiant is a sort of a different play pattern. Your basic goal here is you want to play Sentry, right? You want to play Mysterio and you want to play Sentry, and you want your like good your clone to be on the right to be with the Void. You then play Cersei on that or that in another card. Cool. You've now got a reasonably powerful lane. You've got a 5 cost that you got for free, you've got a 3 cost you got for free, and you got a 7 from Cersei. So as long as you didn't pull a Venom or other bullshit that ruins your life, you're in really, really good shape at this point, right? That is also going to make Mockingbird cheap. You've also got 2 other things to make Mockingbird cheap. Mockingbird now costs 1. You have a 1/9. If you manage, oh no, sorry, 0/9 because Sam Wilson is in the deck. Cool. So that's a free 9 power. So the last turn of the game, what you're going to want to do is you're going to play the Hood or Ant-Man with Valkyrie in a different lane. Sorry, the Demon or Demon. So you play Valkyrie and then Demon, or Valkyrie and Ant-Man on a lane that is otherwise full. Think Hood, the other Mysterio clone, etc. At that point, you win that lane if you were able to throw a priority. Great. You also have a 0/9 to play in another lane. That's the whole deck, right? Like Mysterio is here to make Cersei cheap and give you something to is here to go with give Cersei something to transform, Valkyrie something to make 3. Please don't hit the main Mysterio, or to make for free Mockingbird. Cool. Hood is here to work well with that Cersei combo, give you that 6 drop for Valkyrie, or give you something to Viper over. Ant-Man gives you something with Valkyrie that if you play Valkyrie on it, will be more power than the opposing stuff, which is pretty damn great. Sam is a 2/8 that gives you a way to make Mockingbird cheaper and a way to and an extra card to like turn with Cersei as required. Mysterio is super important here, giving cheap Mockingbird, Cersei stuff. You can even Viper over a clone as required. Magic makes sure you have enough turns to do this. Negasonic is amazing, largely with Supergiant, but hell, you can also end up throwing your Valkyrie behind that Supergiant for a awful lot of power. You let that Valkyrie make sure that Valkyrie comes last in a lane, for example, that you already have Ant-Man and stuff in, so that you know if your opponent plays there, you're going to be able to over the top. The other play for that card is Negasonic. Viper is here largely for Hood, but hey, sometimes you don't see Cersei and you do see Sentry and they don't feel right, and then Viper's incredibly strong. I wish there was room for Spider-Man so much. Valkyrie is your key card. Valkyrie and Cersei are your key cards. They're your finishers. And then Mockingbird is just a free 9, which is absurd. So turn 1, you want Hood over Ant-Man. Turn 2, Mysterio over Sam. Turn 3, Magic, as you're starting to Magic here. You can Viper the Hood here, but you're going, or one of the Mysterio clones, but you're going to want to try and hold Viper if you don't have Cersei but do have Sentry. Turn 4, Sentry or Supergiant. If you have your combos, go Sentry. If not, go Supergiant. Supergiant should be generally followed up by a Valkyrie. Turn 5 is your last chance to Magic. If you already Magicked, you can play the turn 4 play. If not, you're going to play Cersei on the Void or Negasonic with Prio under the Supergiant. Turn 6, Valkyrie and Demon or Ant-Man, and the free Mockingbird, and then you win. Lauren's favorite deck, all her favorite cards, is super duper cool. Have fun playing some control, steal some cubes, enjoy yourself. This is, again, really strong and really, really cool. Questions of the day. Our first is Thrillho. How much worse would Rocket Groot be if it only had the steal power ability and couldn't move on its own? I think it'd be kind of unplayable. It's that it moves that makes it so strong, because keeping in one lane, now it's sort of just a 3/2 Nebula, right? That says if you play here, you're gonna lose it. Sort of reverse the Nebula. At a 3/2, I don't think that's enough. If it were like a 3/4 with that ability, I think it'd still be good. But that's going to cap its power, right? The opponent, and if the opponent already has cards there, then it can't really ever hit good heights. So 3/2. Let's say the opponent plays 2 more cards there. That's a 3/6 tops. It's just not worth it if it doesn't move. A 3/6 that moves is absolutely amazing. A 3/6 that moves and can become a 3/8 or 3/10, now we're really, really cooking, right? But if it doesn't move, I don't think it's a very valuable card. I think it's still okay, but I think it goes into like the Wolfsbane category of like good, but just not quite good enough. Certain tiers of support on our Patreon come with honor. Thanks. If you're interested in supporting the channel or joining the tournament coming up, check out patreon.com/snapjudgments. First, thank you to our patron of the month, Frat Nick. We will have a new patron of the month next Saturday when I do our next streameration. That'll be our 20,000 subscriber streameration. We're going to say thank you to the great Abigail Gleason, my former Alliance leader and friend, Mandatory Burnout. Regardless, it is a word. Always kind, LAB, Inc., the Graphite fan. I am Frostman, you sure are. Jota Navarrete, who's never told me if I'm saying that remotely right. Thinking Poker of the Thinking Poker podcast. Prime Mine of the wonderful Prime Mine app. Ryan Burke, Berkey of Burke Avenue, where I grew up. Ryan Wood, check out Ryan Wood Snap, all one word, for his wonderful YouTube channel. I should probably change it to that here. I will, Ryan, I will. Just remind me. The King of Questions, Caretixley, coming all the way from Japan is Koire. It's Kazushi, who is quite kind, and unlike Corey, who's quite rude. Archangel 3K, that is 4Ks. There we go. Black Dahlia, Perofros, the Goat Seeker, Goatsy, and Code Alliance Leader Town. Although I guess we could move Burnout there, but Burnout's been in the same place for so long. I don't know. We'll see. Burnout, you want to go down with the Alliance Leaders? Are you happy where you are? Let me know. Hallowed Only Fox Synth, one of our wonderful mods on Twitch. Absolute Shannon, same thing. Nightmare, who should reach out to me. Nightmare, if you're watching, reach out. Dirty, Casual, Filthy, even. Same thing, reach out. Mr. Kerfuffle, my regular opponent, Mr. Kerfuff. Cables, the World Traveler. Hopefully you were home for the holidays. Ginger Prime, sup, Ginge. Philly, it's Ratco, the man who makes all the wonderful shorts here on the channel. What's happening? Kenny Loggins of the Danger Zone. The Notorious Biz Black Jeebus 23, also notorious. Extra Sweet and Skippy G, rhyming friends. Jessica Gamble, sub Jess. Mr. Slush Death, the Kinger Bros, bruh, the Great Gazoo. Werewolf, how you doing? Hopefully I'll see you later. Kev Sehoda, hey Kev. Ludacris, Clam, Colonel Forbin, sup Forbin, hopefully I'll see you later too. Bricks to Click, catch you on stream, my friend. Rob Silverman, M. Holland, David Moo, Wingfield, Steven been here a while now. Brian Kaufman, OG, Tristan H. Martin, Jason B, Mr. Craig Sterry, and special guest Matt V. Real name town is packed, stacked. Renwrench, Corman, John Q, and Jimmy McHugh, it's Q Town. You stout. I wonder where the emphasis is supposed to be there. Eighth Sage, one big man. Milkman for reals. My favorite Foley, Cactus Jack. Reapster, one of our newest friends. Thank you, Reapster. BG, Quid Pro Joe. Sorry, we got to check out Snap Decisions Joe. Quid Pro Joe is an awesome human being. Snap Decisions Joe is the best daily Marvel Snap podcast. Make sure you go check out his wonderful content. DeCarlo streaming all the time on Twitch. Make sure you check him out as well. Mod Supreme Models. Hopefully you're doing great, Models. I got to actually check in on you. It's been a little bit. Pick it a boom bop. What's up, boom bop? Thanks for joining. My favorite Osborne Green Goblin. Unibot. Flun 56. The Fuzzy Dump. Spectrumix. Woot. Acu. It's Ocularis. How you doing, Acu? Matt H. The only one we need. DJ Mikey Hijinks. No frickin' flex. Nick the Greek Geek. Check him out on Twitch, please. He's responsible for almost all of our tech support here. Thank you, Nikki. Toxic Soul King. Welcome, Toxie. Thank you, my friend. I really appreciate you joining. Check out Toxic Soul King on Twitch as well. Zodrex. Also, wonderful, wonderful Twitch streamer. Amazingly kind person. The King of Canada is on both Twitch and YouTube for you to check out. Man Falcon is just on YouTube for you. Thor Newman, Twitch and YouTube, and he's got the bug, so make sure you go watch so I can bug him into doing more videos. I love his stuff. Jonesy, check out the Triple Threat on YouTube. Two Ties, who had a deck in yesterday's video and wears two ties. The great Lauren Whatevs, who's still, as before, at twitter.com/Lauren Whatevs, and the Snap on This podcast, the Pirate King, New Dada Tucker, killing it lately. And of course, Gunny T, also on the podcast that released yesterday. The T stands for come hang out with me on Twitch today. Get your drops, and hopefully I'll be entertaining enough to keep you there. Peace.